All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. And in this video, man, oh man, we got a big admission out of Canelo Alvarez's team about Gervonta Tank Davis. And some of y'all Canelo Alvarez fans are not going to like it, but this is most definitely a tacit admission that Gervonta Tank Davis is a bigger star than Canelo Alvarez, at least at this point in time. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 135-pound division and in the 168-pound division at the same time, where we're talking about two of the biggest names in boxing. Let me put Ryan Garcia in there as well, since there's going to be a lot of people who are Ryan Garcia fans crying about this. But we are going to talk about Gervonta Davis and Canelo Alvarez, and a big admission coming from the promoter of Canelo Alvarez, Eddie Hearn, about the upcoming fight for Gervonta Davis and the upcoming fight for Canelo Alvarez, and what is actually the much larger fight, hence who the biggest name in boxing will be after that fight takes place. Now, before I get into that, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are a longtime subscriber and supporter, thank you so much for your continued support. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos, which we do pretty much every day. Join the community because it's, mature boxing fans, been around watching boxing for a long time. We talk about pretty much everything related to the sport. If not in a video like this, we're definitely going to cover it in a live stream. Can't cover everything in boxing in videos. There's only so much time in a day, but make sure you check out the live streams. And thank you to everybody that supports in the super thanks of videos like this. Shout out to my guy, John Boy. Get better soon. Now, let's do this, okay? Eddie Hearn, who is runs Matchroom Boxing, the promoter that has been putting on Canelo Alvarez's fights for the last several years, of this absolutely terrible, don't want to see it, with the exception of maybe one fight, Euro tour that Canelo Alvarez has been on, running his name into the ground with boxing fans. He made a prediction. Eddie Hearn made a prediction on the number of the pay-per-views that he believes that Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia will do. His prediction was between 600 and 800,000 pay-per-views. This is what Eddie Hearn said. Now, what did Steven Espinoza say? He said he expected somewhere around 800,000. He said, if it could be 1 million, great. If we expect 1.2 million and it winds up being 800,000, is that a really bad thing? No, you got to set your expectations reasonable because so many people are stealing fights, right? But basically, Steven Espinoza threw the numbers out around 1 million to 800,000. He said if it gets over 1 million, man, they would really take it. But big fight, right? Now, if you're talking about 800,000 pay-per-views, 800,000 pay-per-views, and a 800,000 pay-per-views and a $20 million gate, you're talking about a $100 million fight, right? That fight, my friend, means that fight is much bigger than the fight that Canelo Alvarez is going to have with John Ryder in Jalisco, Mexico for the undisputed 168-pound title. Without a doubt, because there is no way that particular fight is going to get over 300,000 pay-per-views on DAZN. Just won't do it. Now, I do believe I've heard numbers like one of Canelo Alvarez's pay-per-views for satellite and cable for satellite and cable, that doesn't include digital, right, was somewhere around 150,000 pay-per-views. And I do believe that that was for the Dmitry Bivol fight. So not sure what it was for the Gennady Golovkin fight, but I haven't heard anything where anybody said much different than that, right? But if you say just double it, give it to 300,000 pay-per-views, you are now talking about how much bigger. First of all, that would bring it right along par with what Gervonta Davis did with Hector Garcia. But if Gervonta Davis does 800,000 pay-per-views with Ryan Garcia, it's a wash. What Floyd Mayweather Jr. and what Leonard Ellerbe has been saying for a while has come to fruition. And Gervonta Davis, if he wins that fight with Ryan Garcia, has got to be considered the biggest name in boxing, without a doubt. And let me tell you, if that takes place, not a moment too soon. It is most definitely time to pass that torch from Canelo Alvarez to somebody else. And I say that for several reasons. Number one, Canelo ain't fighting anybody, and he's not giving anybody any fights that they want to see. Okay? The closest thing that you can get is a decent fight or a good fight, right? So you can say his next fight that Canelo Alvarez has already said that he wanted, which is the Dmitry Bivol fight. Everybody knows I want the Dmitry Bivol rematch. That's a good fight. Okay, that's a good fight. Not anything a whole bunch of people are getting amped up and excited about, but it's a good fight. He's going to go in there with Dmitry Bivol and he's going to lose, and that's going to be okay, great. That's a wrap. But the first fight was barely competitive in a weight class Canelo Alvarez does not belong in. But so that's the thing, the first thing. The second thing is, to be fair to Canelo Alvarez is well past his prime. Well past his prime. Now, why would I say that? Because I had this conversation with somebody on Twitter, one of the dumber conversations that I've had on Twitter. But hey, man, that's why I'm on Twitter, to have dumb conversations. I love talking about boxing, and a dumb conversation here and there, passes the time when I'm working out on a stationary bike or something. Before you know it, you go back and forth on a dumb conversation, and 45 minutes has passed. I'm sweating. I did my physical workout for the day, and I can move on and be productive again. So when I'm doing these dumb arguments with people on Twitter, I'm actually being productive. However, this particular dumb argument was about Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Floyd Mayweather Jr. being the greatest cherry picker of all time, and how he never beat anybody that was in their prime, and, a Hall of Famer in their prime. So I list a bunch of guys that have a very good chance to go to the Hall of Fame. Guys like Jose Luis Castillo and Diego Corrales and Canelo Alvarez, Juan Manuel Marquez, right? And somebody says that, that is so ridiculous. Canelo Alvarez was not in his prime when he fought Floyd Mayweather Jr. back in, I do believe it was like 2013. I think it was 2013 that they fought. Now, why do people say that he wasn't in his prime? Because he was only 23 years old at the time. Here's the problem. He already had 44 fights and a bunch of fights that were not on his record, according to him. He also had defended a WBA super title 6 times by the time he did that. He was already the Ring Magazine champion at 154 pounds. And he was, I think he was at the time, number 10 on Ring Magazine's pound for pound at the time. Now, people do not age, right? It do not age at the same rate in boxing, because every fight that you have takes wear and tear on your body, especially at the professional level. Training for the fights, losing weight for the fights, all of those things. Sparring in the fight, actual fight itself, wear and tear, wear and tear, wear and tear. Canelo Alvarez is pushing up on 70 professional fights. He was in his prime with 44. And if you look at when he really started having difficulties and when he stopped fighting really good competitive fights, it was really right after Gennady Golovkin won. right after that. But before that, he was having problems with Austin Trout. He lost to Landy Lara. Then he had fights against tomato cans like Amir Khan, and he went into that mode at that point in time and stayed in that mode with the exception of a couple fights, like I said, that could be considered good fights, right? Like maybe the Caleb Plant, I'll say specifically, the Caleb Plant fight, maybe the Danny Jacobs fight, maybe the Dimitri Bivol fight. But that seriously is a span of like 8 years, 2015 through 2000. Yeah, it's 2023. So that's over the span of 8 years, man. No, he's been coasting it out that entire time. So what I'm saying is a good. Let's pass the torch to somebody that is going to give us fights that we actually want to see and make boxing today more exciting and not be so concerned about my legacy and what people will think about me after I retire. How about you care what people think about you in the fight that they're actually watching today? But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.